Welcome to Ordinary Effort, where a bunch of random fans get some random baseball players and try not to biff the grid. I'm Mike here with my buddy Josh. We are looking at Immaculate Grid 1032, and Josh, it's been a minute since we've had a guest on, so this is exciting for this episode. We have a guest.
Yeah, first one of 2026, and like you said, first one in a while. Yeah, and Larry Fleisher has been like behind the scenes, very supportive of our stuff for a long time in our Discord. If you don't know Larry, he's a sports writer who's got over a decade of history that we'll get into a little bit. It's awesome for us to being two guys who grew up in New York. Larry's covered a lot of the New York teams, so we'll let Larry talk more about his career and. But Larry, welcome on. Thanks for doing this with us.
It's glad to be here. Always glad to join on someone's podcast. I always enjoy doing those things. So it's nice to, I guess, formally meet you guys.
Yeah. I know we were both like really excited when you were enjoying yourself in the Discord, and we were kind of chatting before we hit play just how ridiculous some of the guys in there are, their baseball knowledge and grid knowledge. But Larry, you're also like I don't know what the word is, but like a multi-sport a gridathon guy. Like I think like every day you're kind of tackling multiple sports, right? Or
yeah, I play all four to various degrees of success.
I was looking through your Blue Sky account earlier, and I saw what do you feel like is the what do you feel like? Because like I don't know about you, Josh. I only bother to try the MLB grids at this point. Like that's my main sport. What would you say is like your favorite sport, and what's the hardest Immaculate Grid like league-wise?
Hockey is extremely difficult when they ask you Seattle Kraken or Vegas Golden
Knights. Oh, like, yeah.
It's like don't even bother trying to get like a low score on that, because it's only like I don't think any combination of any teams has more than like 5 or 8 or 9 guys who have played for both at this point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That will trade when that might have trade when the that might change when the trade deadline happens in the next few weeks.
Yeah, very true. Larry, I guess before we dive into the actual grid we're talking about it, I'm curious, like everyone kind of has their different like routine around when they do the grid. Like I was curious, like, you know, you doing multiple sports and balancing kind of like your writing too. Are you sort of like a morning grid kind of guy? Like you got to do it first thing? Like how do you fit the grid in every day? Or
I usually do it like pretty much after breakfast.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Unless it's something urgent I have to do, or for some ungodly reason I have to be out of the house very early in the morning before when those things first go up at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Nice. Well, cool.
I remember when the grid used to when it used to. Sorry, real quick. I remember when it used to refresh at like midnight. So we'd be up like we'd have our group chats and we'd be like filling out one.
I know people who did that. Who would do that?
Oh yeah.
We'd like finish one grid at quarter to midnight, and then we're like, well, you know, it's another 15 minutes. Let's just wait and do the next one.
Yeah. So true. Yeah. Well, this is going to be really fun. We picked out a grid. It's grid 1032. It's crazy that we're over 1,000 now on the baseball side. But for those listening, we tried to pick a grid that had some New York teams. Obviously, Larry's covered a lot of that. So we've got born outside the U.S., 50 states, D.C., and then Tigers, Twins. And then going across, we've got Mets, Yankees, and played third base. So this is a really fun one. Larry, you're the guest, so I might chuck it to you if there's a box you want to start with, or wherever you want to go with this.
You can start in the bottom right, third base, born outside the U.S. Let's try Juan Bonilla.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a name I've thought about.
Not to be confused.
Short career too.
Mets legend Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah. Juan Bonilla.
Who did this guy play for? I honestly don't really know anything about this guy, this player at all.
He was on the Orioles for sure. Might have been on the Padres. But I definitely remember him
nice.
I remember his baseball card for the Orioles.
Okay. Well, I also loved like an 80 shout. I mean, that's like I think an era that's going to be pretty low score. So definitely go with Juan Bonilla if we want to throw that, Mike.
Juan Bonilla. Oh, nice. Yeah. 0.009%.
Yeah, and the Padres hat too. So you're right about that. That's a great way to start. So
beautiful hidden gem. Oh wow, that uniform is. I feel like that's an interesting like color combo. That bright yellow. It's classic right there. All right.
Yeah,
We could move over
that
and
had
do
to
the
be like
Yankees.
84, I guess.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Okay,
And that stash is very like
start with
80s.
let's go Yankees Twins. Let's see.
Nice.
Yankees Twins.
Try Pete Filson,
Pete Filson.
pitcher in
Wow.
the
Another
80s.
80s guy. Yeah. Nice.
What can you tell us? What can you tell us about Pete? The only Pete I know is
Yeah,
Pete
not a name
Alonso.
we would pull. Yeah.
I don't know his
Well,
stats.
I know Pete Shurik.
But I just remember him his name appearing on the Yankees back then, and mostly with the Twins. But I think he was on the Yankees towards the end of his career, and probably didn't pitch that much.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Let's do it. Pete Filson.
0.03%. Another hidden gem. This is looking really good so far. And
Yeah.
I don't know if Josh and I are going to be of any help if you keep going this way. You might just sweep the board here.
Well, Larry, I kind of want to ask you, like, I mean, because we obviously got two pretty deep cuts here. I imagine too, just like during your career covering sports, like you've probably also seen some pretty memorable things happen in games, or just, whether it's like intersecting with players or whatnot. What kind of stands out, I guess, maybe with the Yankees or baseball in general, about some of those like top things you remember?
This is probably not a top thing in Yankee history that they want to remember, but the fifth inning of Game 5 of the World Series against the Dodgers.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I think it went from, in 17 minutes, they went from having a no-hitter, Garrett Cole's pitching a no-hitter, to being tied. I think that's what it was about. It was about 17 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
that was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
As a Mets fan, I am not allowed to talk about that in front of Yankees fans.
Yeah. Oh man.
I was at the last game I did cover the last game at Chase Stadium.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So was that in 2000? Was that 2000?
2008. It was a week after the last game at Yankee Stadium.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. It's crazy that it's been that long that City's Field's been open.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been a little bit. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the grid. I mean,
let's go third base Tigers. Let's try Barbaro Garby.
Oh man.
Cuban-born player who was on the 84 Tigers at the very least.
Wow.
I think he later played with Texas, but I remember his name mostly with the Tigers.
We're gonna have to do a follow-up episode just where we research these guys. I feel Larry. I mean, these are just like tremendous shouts. I mean, like a master class. Let's do it.
Barbaro Garby, 0.2% hidden gem. That's a unassisted triple play. We are.
Oh yeah.
Well, believe it or not, I put Phil Collins once because that was Phillies won 10 games, and he was like in the 30s.
Wow.
Nice.
And somebody tipped me off to this one because a bunch of my friends are big Pearl Jam fans. There was a pitcher pitched in the Tigers, very minimal, but he qualifies for one game Tigers, Louis Vedder.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's funny. Probably get like a whole rock and roll one if you get like Carlos Santana in there too, and a couple other guys, I bet. Wow. All right. I love it. Larry, where do you want to go next?
Twins Mets.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone knows this guy for the big movie that Brad Pitt portrayed him in, but he played for both teams. Billy Beane.
Oh, nice. Right. Yeah. Wow. That's funny.
I think he was part of the players the Mets gave up to get Tim Tuffle after the '85 season.
Yeah.
Now remember,
Billy
is
Beane
this
with an E?
B with the E. Okay. I was.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Like I've tried to sometimes use some of the guys that come up in Moneyball, and they just tend to go a little higher. I think because of the movie, like Ricardo Rincon, or
I've used him many times.
Like. But I bet Billy Beane. I don't think he'll be. Yes, I like using him. I don't think we've ever used him on.
I don't think we have either. We definitely know the name, obviously. Like that was a great movie. I love that movie.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for him to mention Hudson, Mulder, and Zito though.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true. They did leave out those. I read an article about that, how they left out some of the like
maybe in
better
the sequel
players on that team.
Maybe in the sequel they'll mention them.
Didn't they
Yeah.
also change the name of like Paul D. Podesta to something else because
Yeah, that
it
was
was one of
Jonah
the
Hill's character,
yeah
but
yeah yeah
I forget
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they did.
yeah.
yeah. All
Right.
right, Billy
All
Bean,
right,
Mr.
Billy Bean,
Moneyball,
nice.
0.9% hidden gem.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, wow. Okay, we could go a lot of places here. Larry, I'm curious actually, like, you know, I know that this year, or I guess it was, yeah, it might have been this year or last year, was the first time you voted in the Hall of Fame induction, which is
Yeah,
first of all,
this was the first year.
okay, yeah. First of all, obviously a huge honor, so congrats.
Thank you.
It was huge. Just curious, kind of like that's got to be such a big process and like a thought process behind it and your own analysis and kind of curious, like it's not something us as like just common fans would get kind of insight into. It's kind of curious, Larry, like how that was for you. What was the process like and kind
It
of,
was about
yeah.
a 2-week process of putting notes into an email draft on my personal email and or Word document file. I I looked at a lot. I did a lot of the peakier stuff because
Mm.
a lot of that is big. People do the peakier stuff, and I think that's what people overlooked with in the past with like guys like Mattingly and other guys. And I did a lot of player comparison tools. If you subscribe to the stat head thing on Baseball Reference, you can compare players.
Mhm.
And I looked at various rankings of where they were in the hall and like how many guys. And with Pettit was probably the most controversial pick because he is in the Mitchell report. But I
Mhm.
looked at a ton. I don't several articles, and every article he seemed to be quoted saying he was contrite, he was a mistake, and I rationalized it by saying he has similar numbers to CC Sabathia, who got in terms of ERA and wins, and then he also has the 19 postseason wins, which makes him the most of all time. So he's got close to 300 wins in that regard.
Yeah.
And then Felix
Yeah.
Hernandez, I mean, if you remember his peak, so and I don't think it would be fair to punish him for pitching well on two teams who lost 100 games in terms of wins and losses because he won a
Yeah.
Cy Young on a 100 loss team when they're like only 13-12.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned like the controversial, you know, I guess perception of Pettit. I'm also curious, like, how did you approach Carlos Beltran being on the ballot with the whole?
I was always gonna vote for him, even if I had
Yeah.
voted earlier. I just thought, you know, I don't know. I just thought that his numbers stacked up. I mean, I might if I was voting when he was first appearing, I don't know if I would have penalized him for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't have to think about it then, so it didn't come up in my processes of putting it together.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
his numbers are definitely Hall of Fame
Oh
worthy. I
yeah.
know some people just have the
Yeah,
Astros thing in the back of their minds too with him, but I always thought that was interesting, and it's really cool that you get to fill out a ballot. That's
yeah.
amazing.
It sneaks up on you because you don't really think about it like during the season, and then they send you like the email in September about registering. I think it's September, or they say this that email that you're. I forget how the sequence of things, but they send you get an email that says you're eligible. That you're eligible. Here's your just give us your contact information, where to send it to. And then I think they confirm with you like right before they send it out, and then they send it out like right before you get it in the mail, like the week before Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
sent it back earlier. I mean, you have to do the 31st, but I was nervous about the mail with the Christmas,
Yeah,
so I
Yeah.
sent it back like the week before Christmas.
Yeah. I wonder while we're talking about it, just curious, like, who's a guy in your eyes, if there's anyone who you just maybe is getting close to end of eligibility or maybe is out of eligibility that you're kind of wish he would have got more of a look or wish he would have got in? Is there anyone that comes to mind for you? I know a lot of guys say Mattingly or
Yeah,
you kind of threw the name around.
Keith Hernandez, guys like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's two good shouts there.
And
I know
another
my
thing,
family. Yeah.
another thing I'll add on the Hall of Fame, I purposely waited till the committee that voted Jeff Kent. I forget the name of the committee,
Yeah.
because I wanted to see how they approached Bonds and Clemens, because that's a couple of former players on that committee,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
thought, if they're not going to vote for Bonds and Clemens, then I'm not going to put the guys who are linked, Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez. Believe me, I wanted to put Manny Ramirez. The guy's the greatest statistical right-handed hitter of all time, or one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
it's just really hard to overlook someone who was suspended after they started implementing this stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair.
I think that's a really cool approach you did. I mean, I think that's really like I feel like it's a very difficult question that obviously Mike and I don't have to grapple with as like people who don't, have a say in that stuff. But I really like that you kind of like in a way let the players kind of take the lead and sort of followed suit with how they felt about it. That's really cool. Yeah. But, well, nice. Thanks for sharing, Kamau. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Should we get back to the grid, I guess?
Yeah,
Larry, where do you want to go next?
let's try Mets Tigers.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
This guy
Oh,
killed the
wow.
Yankees. This guy was a Yankee killer in the '60s, but towards the end of his career, he pitched a handful of
Oh.
games for the Mets. Frank Lary, Lary.
Oh, okay.
I think he pitched. My dad always referred to him as the Yankee killer in like '61 when the Yankees still won the World Series. Always pitched well against them.
Wow. I mean, killing the Yankees in 61 too is like no easy task. So
Yeah,
that's
Frank's
pretty
pretty good at
good.
it.
So yeah, okay, nice. Frank Larry.
Frank Larry, 0.3%, another hidden gem.
Nice.
I feel silly even said like I knew you weren't going to go with like Javier Baez there, but I don't I don't think there's anybody I can pull at this point that's gonna.
And I'm not
going
going to go with
and I'm not
going with Gleyber Torres for Tigers Yankees or Tommy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
But for we can move
this
on to
is the box, that middle one. Yeah.
let's go to that
Larry,
one.
yeah.
Tigers Yankees. Jim Whalewander. I think it's WAL.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he came up in the Discord a while back, and I forget exactly what the context was. But this is the first guy outside of Billy Beane whose name I've actually heard of.
I was gonna say the guy in the Discord that comes up for these teams all the time is Pete Cosma, because one of the guys in the Discord loves Pete Cosma so much he's got his username. But he works for this. But I definitely love the Jim Whalewander shout. I mean, yeah,
let's do it. 0.1%,
nice.
Another hidden gem, and that's 2 unassisted triple plays.
Yeah,
I think I see exactly where this is trending. Where do you want to go next?
Yeah, where do you want to go, Larry?
So, born outside the U.S. for the Yankees. This guy was a catcher. Okay. I believe he's Puerto Rican. I believe Juan Espino.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Another 80s player.
Short career.
I love how all these guys are like 80s with like a 3, 4, 5 year careers, with the exception of Frank Larry.
Yeah.
Juan
That's
Espino.
A short career.
Let's do it. Juan Espino.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
0.1% hidden gem.
Nice. Yeah. Wow. Oh man. Larry, I wonder like if you're tuned in at all right now to like spring training.
I watched. I'm
wondering like if there's anyone.
I watched a couple innings of the Yankee game, mostly until they pulled the regulars.
Yeah. I'm wondering kind of like if there's anyone you're kind of excited to get a look at, or I guess like it's kind of early, I guess, and
From what I've read, the guys who pitched the first 2 games for the Yankees, Lagrange, I'm not sure, and Elmer Rodriguez seem like they might be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
and
I read that too.
And I guess if from the Mets perspective, Carson Benz was leading off today for the Mets, so that's probably would be interesting.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of like speculation that he might crack the major league roster out of spring training, possibly. It's interesting though, now that they moved Soto to left field, like Benj, as I think everybody was kind of thinking he'd be center field or possibly left field. Now he might be the right field option, which is it's interesting how they're shuffling guys around. I'm curious, back to the Yankees for a second. What do you make of of Judge's comments about like his frustrations with kind of like the lack of movement earlier in the offseason? This is, I guess, referring to before they brought Bellinger back, but the idea of like running it back this year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I joke with like we should have a drinking game every time somebody says the Yankees are running it back, because it is a team that did lead the American League in offense last year. So And
Mhm.
I mean, I think that should count for something. I mean, I know a lot of it is against bad teams, and they didn't play well against Toronto. And with the Yankees, you're only good as your last playoff series. But I think you have to take
Yeah.
some of that into consideration. Yeah, I mean, sure, could they have used some tweaks? Yeah, who couldn't? I mean, they need to go crazy like the Mets adding nearly 30 guys either on free agency, trade, minor league contracts, waiver claim, and the offseason. But I still expect the Yankees to be pretty good. I would have a hard. I'd be hard pressed to believe that they wouldn't be in the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to like, I think, as like a fan, I definitely feel that sometimes too, where like you obviously you want the flashy like acquisition and stuff like that. But then, with Cashman too, like I think it was the last 2 years at the deadline, he seemed really intentional to acquire guys who had multiple years of control. But it's
yeah,
also like it seems like he was really intentional to set up guys that he acquired were not just like ever rentals. So it's hard to because like the infield is pretty, whether you like it or not, set.
Yeah.
Like they picked up Goldie to maybe be like a more veteran platoon presence at this point. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm just excited that we're even having these talks. Baseball is like coming back, and yeah, can't wait.
yeah, and that also the running it back argument. All right, take a drink. I just said running it back.
I've got some water right here.
does
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
does the narrative does get a little contradicted when you think Garrett Cole didn't throw a pitch last year, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the guy David Bednar, who ended the year as a closer, wasn't on the team until July 31st,
Yeah.
and they're starting third baseman the same thing. So it's not
Yeah.
entirely running it back if your criteria is what the team looked like a year ago, exactly on opening day.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. It's a good point. I'm excited to see what like even Doval like I'm not like completely out that he could be like a good piece, especially like it's hard to I imagine like get your influence on a guy in the middle of a season. Now they've had like a full off season with them. Maybe there's something still that they can get out of him. He obviously was at one point a really really elite reliever for the Giants, so it'll be interesting. Mets too. I mean, I think Benj, like you said, like seems like they're really giving him a shot to crack right field. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that could be really exciting.
I saw everybody overreacting to the one throw Bo Bichette made from third the
Oh,
other day. And everybody's losing their
yeah,
minds. But
mid-season form already. So
I like the pickup of Bichette. I think I mean it's crazy that the entire Mets lineup is going to be different in terms of like by position, every starter is going to be different than it was last year at this point, right? Like
That is unique.
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
hopefully for them and all the Met fans, it does work out.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
because to me, there's nothing more boring than in any sport than losing and all the stuff that goes along with losing.
yeah, yeah.
I know that life very well. And I live in a perpetual state of like cautious optimism, but ready for the worst. So
Yeah,
hopefully things
yeah.
work out better this year.
Oh man. Well, we talking about the Mets. You want to knock out that Mets born outside the U.S. box,
Yeah,
or
let's. This guy was on the '93 Mets, a team that many would prefer not to remember. He didn't play that much. Probably didn't play very well, but nonetheless, he did appear. Like Tito Navarro born inside the U.S. for
oh
Mets,
wow,
Wow. And he's a 1 year player too.
like an infielder.
yeah,
Now this
oh
is
wow.
this is around the time I started like really paying attention to baseball, and I don't remember this guy at all. I thought
Well,
you
he
might
played
say
1 year, so yeah.
yeah, I thought you might say somebody like Moro Gazzo is like a guy that I like
I've
to
used him. I've used
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
This is even better though because 1 year career can't. Let's see what this is.
Nice.
Point
Nice.
zero
Hey,
zero four.
at least he's got a picture out of it.
I
Right,
was
yeah.
gonna say you can tell when they like maybe don't even have the headshot. Like this is like an action shot for sure.
This looks like it was
Um,
taken out of like the newspaper. Like
yeah,
it's grainy and he's looking. Yeah, this is definitely not planned headshot.
definitely not. Mike, good luck finding a picture of Tito Navarro for the for the
It
socials.
might
So
be
yeah.
exactly this picture that you're seeing here.
Yeah. Yeah. Larry, before we hit this last box, I feel like this flew by because a ton of fun. I just want to give a chance, like, like if people listening, watching, we'll have this on our socials, we'll have it on YouTube. If they want to find your work, I know your articles get syndicated by the Associated Press. You were talking just a little bit before about Lindy's, so I wonder if you could just like give a plug for yourself. Where can we find
Yeah,
your articles and your work?
when I do the AP stuff, everyone who does anything for the AP, um, have their own page, whether you're a staffer or a freelancer. So, if you type in my name, AP Larry Fleischer, that page will probably come up along with any place it may appear. I also do stuff for Field of Media. Some of it's byline, some of it's not. But there's a decent amount of bylines out there for playoff games. Last year I did the entire Big East tournament for them, and all that stuff was byline, so you can
Okay.
find stuff there like previews, and I always the Field of Media, the big thing is doing the game preview. So I just try to make them as detailed as possible. I always tweet them out or Blue Sky them out or whatever it's called on Blue Sky.
Yeah, I don't even know
I
what.
still say tweet
And
it even though
they
it's
appear.
wrong.
I mean, I usually tweet them off CBS Sports because they're one of the sites that uses them.
Oh, nice.
And the Lindy stuff, if you just type my name, Larry Fleischer, Lindy's, it comes up. I'm up to about nine or 10 articles on there. And
Nice.
then if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's just my name. I mostly use Twitter to interact with people, with people I'm friends with, or and stuff like that, or post my grids and stuff like that. And I use Blue Sky, same thing. If Larry Fleischer, whatever the extension is on Blue Sky.
Yeah. Well, we'll link it in the YouTube description if you're watching. So
Okay.
we'll link how to find Larry's articles and how to find him on socials and all that. But yeah, I mean, we'll finish this grid out, but just super appreciative that you hopped on with us.
Yeah.
And it's not every day we're just, like I said, two fans. So we were just excited when like a reporter for sports was in our Discord playing grids with us and wanted to come on the show and just really
I'm surprised there's not more.
you gotta tell some of
There
your
are, there are
reporter
other people.
friends
There are other
to,
people. There are other people in the baseball media who play the grids pretty extensively.
yeah. Yeah, well, I know Tyler Kepner for the
He was part of
Athletic.
your thing for ALS
Exactly.
which was on a
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon that I kept
Yeah.
popping in and out of because I was, I think it was bad weather day and I was home.
Oh, thanks for coming. Yeah.
And I probably didn't want to just
Yeah.
be sitting on the computer for 10 hours straight or whatever it was.
That was a long
Yeah.
day.
Fair. Yeah.
It was good.
Well, the next time we do some kind of gridathon, obviously, the invite is out there. So we'd love to have you on again.
Yeah.
And there was even there was a thing in the Discord the other day about, oh, there should be a show where people play basketball grid or football grid in ordinary effort. And Mike and I can't host that, but if we find a host one day, we'll tell them to have you on. So yeah. But cool. Should we finish this out? I guess Twins played third base, or
I have a feeling we're not going with Royce Lewis here.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Oh man, Twins third base. I mean,
This
I
guy
would
was a
say like Tony
utility guy
Raffamino. Did he ever
around the
play?
time. I think his career kind of merged with the time when they were bad in the 90s after they won the World Series, sort of the year they started getting good again. Denny Hawking played a handful of games at third base for them at some point. I don't know what point, but I
Nice.
know he did.
Nice. All right. Yeah.
Let's close it out. Denny Hawking. And 0.3% hidden gems across the board.
Nice.
Final rarity score of 2, which is an unassisted rarefied air grid because
Yeah.
running the table. This is beautiful. And I love that we have like the variety of names here from
Oh yeah.
Well, we have a
80s,
Dominican-born
you got
player, Puerto Rican-born player, a Cuban, and a bunch of Americans.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty covered. This is a great grid. I mean, I think most people will know the name Billy Bean, but I'm going to guess that there's a lot of people who watch our stuff that will be just as curious about us, about the rest of the guys. So hopefully go dig into these guys on Baseball Reference, see what else they qualify for. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do after we hit stop here for sure. So, yeah, Larry, thanks again so much. This is just
You bet.
like a blast. Definitely will have to do it again for
bet.
sure.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. This was great.
Anytime.
Yeah. Well, Mike, where else
I got to
can they
do the
find
thing.
us?
I got to do. Yeah. You know, it's over there on the side. I think right. It's at
Yeah,
Ordinary
right.
Effort on Instagram, on Blue Sky. If you're watching this on YouTube and haven't subscribed yet, if you wouldn't mind, that would be fantastic. And if you're listening to us on podcast platforms, or if you're doing one, you can do the other. So if you're watching, you can listen to us on your podcast platforms. If you're listening, you can find us on YouTube. And that's about it.
Yeah. Mike and I will stay ordinary. Larry, nothing about this grid was ordinary. You really knocked it out of the park, but we always close out saying stay ordinary. So, thanks, Larry. Yeah.